Hi, I'm Dante St. James, Start NT Manager at the Darwin Innovation Hub. I'm joined by Alex Ferrugia, the local investment manager at Paspalis Capital and mentor at the Darwin Innovation Hub. Now, thanks for joining us this session. Today, we're going to walk you through everything you need to know about Croc Pitch 2025. What it is, what we're looking for, and how to give your startup the best possible chance of success. So we'll talk first about who is behind Croc Pitch. Croc Pitch is organised by the Darwin Innovation Hub, or DIH. Now, the Darwin Innovation Hub is one of our incubator and innovation centres in the Northern Territory. It opened back in the 1st of July 2017 and began as Australia's very first incubator under the Federal Incubator Support Initiatives. It sits in the Paspalis Centrepoint building in Darwin CBD and serves as a bit of a launching pad for startups, for researchers, and for global companies that are wanting to test innovations out in our regional industries. Now, the DIH offers the usual co-working spaces, but also expert mentorship and workshops and events. And it means startup teams and research spin-offs get real help defining their ideas and solving their business challenges and building market strategies and preparing them for that investment, for that funding. Start NT then is the program that's run by DIH to help early stage startups in the Northern Territory to become investment ready. It's funded and approved through the NT government's Business Innovation Program, and it's made up of a 3-month incubator program that's offered to startups, providing hands-on mentoring from experts in residence, as well as workshops and all those things to help fine-tune their business plan and their pitch. Then after they've completed that first 3 months, we progress them through to stage 2, which is the accelerator program. And over those next few months, the participants build product roadmaps, sharpen their go-to-market strategies, restructure their finance, and prepare to pitch for seed capital that's aligned with Paspalis Capital's criteria. That brings us to Paspalis Capital, which is where Alex operates as the local investment manager. And that's the investment side of the business. Paspalis Capital is a Darwin-based venture capital firm with very deep ties to Northern Australia's innovation scene. Now, we invest in global deep tech and high growth startups with a special focus on really unlocking the economic potential of Northern Australia. And that brings us to Croc Pitch, the flagship event where everything we've just talked about comes together. It's where the hub's support, the Start NT pipeline, and Paspalis Capital's investment activity all come together to meet to back those really promising founders. Now, how we all began, it was back in 2018. It was spotlighting those innovative ventures, I suppose, which is all about showcasing bold, innovative ventures with the potential to create real economic growth in Northern Australia. And since then, it's grown on to be Northern Australia's leading pitch contest. And we're here now, heading into our 7th year. Now, 2025 Croc Pitch will be held on the 10th of December as part of Startup September, hosted by the NT Business Enterprise Centre. Now, Croc Pitch is a hybrid event. That means it happens both in person and online. So wherever you're based, you can join in. You can pitch, invest, or simply take part in the conversation from anywhere in the world. It's also more than just a pitch day. It's about giving contributors and sponsors and community partners a chance to showcase their work, supporting emerging startups and building those real connections with Northern Australia's innovation ecosystem. Now, let's talk about the opportunity here that's on offer. At Croc Pitch, selected ventures have the chance to receive up to $1 million in venture capital investment from Paspalis Capital. That's right, we're talking about up to $1 million here. And Paspalis is the principal sponsor, obviously, of Croc Pitch and one of Australia's most active regional venture capital firms. Now, we invest in high growth startups from all over the world, but only if there's a strong economic link to Northern Australia. We'll talk a bit more about how this can be demonstrated in a few slides, along with a few tips as well. But you probably want to know, who is it that can pitch? If you're an entrepreneur, a startup, or a scale-up based pretty much anywhere in the world, you can apply. What matters most is your product or innovation has clear commercial potential and create real benefit for the Northern Territory or the broader north of Australia. We're looking for innovative and scalable technologies, with real traction and teams that are ready to grow. Now, on pitch day, a panel of investors and business leaders and government partners will ask questions. And there is a formal Paspalis a representative who makes investments decision through a formal committee process. They may be in the room, they may be in another room elsewhere, but they are present at this. Now, after the pitches, the Paspalis Investment Committee will then decide on who proceeds towards due diligence. And this is a key point about Croc Pitch. The winner of Croc Pitch doesn't automatically just get $100 million in prize money to run away and play with. It's all about the winner getting the opportunity to directly negotiate with Paspalis to negotiate investment and proceed with that due diligence. Now, a bit about the front end of the team that's working to support participants in the Croc Pitch. Myself, as a starting team manager, I'll be there, and I'm also a mentor at the Darwin Innovation Hub. I'm joined by Alex Ferrugia, representing Paspalis Capital itself as the local investment manager. Now, we're here to answer your questions or the queries you might have in the lead up, and both as a mentor, I suppose, and a guide through the whole Croc Camp experience, which is the step we take before the actual final pitch. Now, Croc Camp, as I'll talk a little bit about later on, can be thought of as a practice round for the actual pitch, where you'll be able to get direct feedback on how to improve that pitch further, as well as guidance on general preparedness.
Thanks, Dante. So, as Dante mentioned, I think you mentioned December. It's the 10th of September this year. Typically, we've held it in October, but this year we're shaking things up as part of Startup September. And right here on the screen, you can see ESPA satellite imagery, the 2024 Croc Pitch winner from last year. And ESPA is an Australian space tech startup founded in 2019 by Shoaib, who's the CEO there, and Joey, CTO. They've built a hyperspectral satellite constellation that can detect hundreds of light bands, well beyond the visible light spectrum, to identify chemicals, signatures of pretty much anything you can think of, but really focusing on minerals, which is very strategic and a big market here in the Northern Territory. So you could think of it like a very powerful telescope that makes it possible to spot minerals like lithium, monitor gases like methane, assess vegetation health. All of these things are very important to the Northern Territory. And on an innovation front, it's around 30 times cheaper than traditional methods. So it's really game-changing the access to high-quality Earth observation data, and they achieve this by taking commercial off-the-shelf technology and qualifying all the componentry that goes up in space to be space-grade. In terms of their activities and what they pitched to us last year, they really pitched for a physical and operational presence in Darwin to cover Northern Australia, where we see a tremendous amount of opportunity in mining exploration. So they've opened an office in Darwin to support local mining and resource clients, and hired their first staff members here to grow the brand operations and connect with real people and stakeholders here in the NT. And so we really look forward to seeing how their progress evolves. It's been less than 6 months, or maybe actually just a bit over 6 months since they won the competition, and there's typically a little bit of time between when you win and when you receive investment, as always. But yes, we're very looking forward to seeing how they evolve and grow the team here. On the eligibility criteria, like Dante mentioned previously, what's really important to us is that there is a strong link to the Northern Territory, Northern Australia. And there's a number of ways that you can show this. And this isn't just the only ways that you can see here on the screen. Obviously, we've had the ability to invest in companies both in the NT and abroad. So having a physical presence here is important in showing true commitment. And of course, engaging with Darwin Innovation Hub, which can start as early as now if you're just watching this. There's nothing stopping from engaging in the ecosystem just because of Croc Pitch. We invest all throughout the year, including Croc Pitch time, September time. So really do encourage you to think about very carefully and create real, tangible results and impact before you pitch. There's other avenues that can be explored, including working with our partners here, including the Northern Territory Government, which is a large employer here in the NT, roughly about 30 to 40% of all employment. A large amount of economic activity is based around the government services branch. And of course, like I mentioned, we have other industries which we target on our website that you can see, like mining or space, or even things that are digital facing or consumer facing. So we are quite industry agnostic, but please make sure that you think about what the impact is or relevance is to the current NT economy or how you could help diversify that economy. R&D projects is a very big one, mainly because we see Darwin as an NT broadly as a very big testbed environment. So you come in with a very early stage technology, you might come in with an idea. Can you see Northern Territory as that testbed to further develop that technology, to find your first customers and ultimately export that and to become a commercial player in a global market? So these are just some ideas. And then, of course, running alongside the eligibility criteria, you have to think about the investment criteria. And we do have investment criteria on the Paspalis Capital website as well. And as part of that criteria, what we're really looking for is blending commercial reality and success, or the potential to, as well as connection to the NT. And there are a number of lenses which we look through when we look at that. And on the screen here, you can see, especially if you're at the early stage, the management team is absolutely critical because you may not have a technology yet, or it might be underdeveloped. So what's really key there is who is actually going to make that change happen and drive that. So having a team that's available, has capacity, they're full-time in the business, they're skilled. And if you are in a team, more than one's great because you can bounce off each other and you can share a workload. A special source. So Paspalis Capital is an innovation investor. And so what we really do focus on, in addition to NT Connection, which is also there at the last, this is in no particular order, by the way, is how different are you from the competition? Can you defend your advantage from a technological perspective over time? How will you continue to improve your service, your product, your offering? And of course, business model. So scalable, we want a scalable business model because really we need to show growth over time. And also we like to see big markets. And if you can start out in the NT and then, or in Australia even, and then grow that to global markets, that's a fantastic outcome. And being able to capture that through a proper business model is going to really prepare you for a good pitch and good merit. Financials, sometimes not as important because a lot of startups have no history. They may not have customers. They may be running at a loss. But what is important is showing how you will make revenue, which goes back to business. Again, do you have some realistic expectations year to year? What are your cost drivers? What are the things that startups often face is that they're burning a lot of cash, they're spending a lot of money. How will you spend money over time over the next 12, 18 months? Then there's the market, which goes back to business model again. How big is this market? Is it a big enough market for the kind of problem that you're looking to solve? Who are your customers? What are their pain points? These are really important if you don't know your customer. If you're not working from the customer first towards a technology or towards an innovation, then I think you really have to go back and think about, are you creating this business the right way? Are you starting it the right way? And that's one of the things that Start NT is really good at, and what we're really good at here in Paspalis is by coaching businesses, what's the right order and what's prioritizing, what are the prioritizing factors that you need to consider when starting a business. Then there's marketing and distribution. How are you going to find your customers? How are you going to put your product in front of them? What's the cost of servicing those customers? What are the logistical challenges associated with that? Important to show how you're going to go to market quickly and capture a market. Then there's capital allocation, which then ties into financials. A lot of these are interrelated. You need to be able to show how the investment money will be spent. So if we invest $1 million today, how is that going to be distributed amongst team, amongst product development, amongst marketing? Then there's exit strategy, and exit strategy appears as one of our investment criteria on the Paspalis Capital website. We don't need to know who is going to buy your company in the future. We just want to know that there is sufficient evidence, or there is a likelihood that someone has a rationale to acquire your business or to dispose of the company's interest in a way which creates value for all shareholders, as we are an investor. We can't invest for 20, 30, 40 years. We have a 5 to 10 year investment horizon. and being able to exit our position is a imperative for us, and hopefully an imperative for you, as we can all share in the profits together. And then finally, and probably most importantly, and one of the most underlooked areas by a lot of participants that come through Croc Pitch, is what is the Northern Australia connection? I think my biggest tip here is to be specific, to do your pre-work, to talk to real people straight away. If you're watching this, talk to people straight away. Even better, come up to Darwin and talk to people face to face. Figure out what the pain points are. Do those pain points align with a broader Australian market, a broader global market? If so, participation in this contest is really a must. So, like I said in the previous slide, have a plan and try and think about ways how you can develop technology through R&D. Talk to customers here. Talk to other stakeholders here that could potentially benefit from your product, your solution.
How to apply. So first we watch the information session. That's what this is all about. Now, this online session that you're viewing right now tells you everything you need to know about preparing your strong investment ready pitch. Then next you go and create that pitch. You'll have 10 minutes to present it on the day and then 5 minutes for questions. So, but just make sure your pitch covers all those key eligibility and selection criteria we've just gone through. Then register and submit your deck online at crocpitch.com.au, and you need to upload your pitch deck by 5 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time, or Darwin time, on 6th of August 2025. Now, by applying, you're agreeing to the Croc Pitch 2025 terms and conditions. Finalists will then get a written notice on the 13th of August 2025, and then move on to that next step. After that, attend the Croc Camp on the 20th of August 2025, either in person or online. And this mandatory prep camp lets you test run your pitch with us there to help you refine it based on feedback that we'll give you. And at Croc Camp, you'll practice your pitch like it's the final. So come prepared, because it's like the real deal, but a real dress rehearsal. Finally, then you've got a chance to polish your pitch and submit your final version by 5 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time on the 1st of September 2025. Now, Croc Pitch 2025 finalists will then pitch live to an audience on the 10th of September 2025 as part of our Startup September. So that's pretty much the process for it. Now, on the day, that's Wednesday, the 10th of September, when we'll be doing the whole Croc Pitch thing, here's what you're going to expect. You're going to hear from some guest speakers who'll share their insights. Usually the previous year's winners will show up and give some words about that. The finalists will then compete in the Croc Pitch competition at the Darwin Innovation Hub. Like we said, you can pitch online or pitch in person, and you will be pitching to a live panel and a live audience who will be in the hub. When it's your turn, you'll get a 10-minute pitch either online or in person at your scheduled time. And then after your pitch, you'll have a 5-minute Q&A to answer those questions from the panel. So a good tip is not to go over time. Plan to stay for the full day. Now, the winner will be announced at the end of the competition on the day. So you will find out very, very soon. In fact, when you're going to do it on that very same day. We're not going to make you wait weeks to hear if it was you. And back to you, Alex.
The winner's process. So if you've won Croc Pitch, what happens? And initially what happens is effectively what we do is we go straight into due diligence. And that would be facilitated through both Darwin Innovation Hub and Paspalis. Most likely myself and Dante would triage that process, and we begin to learn a little bit more about the business. Croc Pitch is the pitch, and we want to uncover the business underneath. As if we are going to invest in the business, we are investing for the long haul. So when we think about due diligence, we look at a number of different considerations, from legal to financial. We look at the market. We test a lot of the assumptions inside of your pitch deck. We try and work with you to uncover, well, what's realistic, what's investable, and perhaps even things that may need to change. As we're doing that, we actually are developing an investment thesis. And as a part of that, we're thinking about, what investment threshold do we go up to? Do we go up to $1 million? What do you actually need? You don't actually have to pitch for $1 million. You could pitch for less than that. You could pitch, and this is another tip too, is pitch for what you need. and we look at other factors such as customers. We might go and interview some customers. We might go and interview other technology vendors and potential competitors. We'll obviously look into your team quite a bit as well to see how you guys can work together, or person if you're a solo entrepreneur. And then what we're doing as part of that due diligence package is developing what we call a term sheet, which is a very high level summary of the terms of investment. So when we invest money, we invest in exchange for ownership of the company or future ownership of the company. That may be facilitated through shares, so share investment, money for equity ownership, or under another popular instrument called a safe note, which is money invested today for future equity at a later point in time. We talk about things like valuation. We talk about things like how the shareholders work together, if there's more than one shareholder. We talk about a number of different factors that relate to the governance of companies as well. And that may include Paspalis having a board position in your company, a say, as they are investing money. We're investing money today over the long haul. We need to oversee our investment. This process usually takes anywhere between 30 to 45 days if we're working well that day or that month. And it's a very short document, so it's only about 3 or 4 pages. But if you progress later through that term sheet and you want to work with us as a partner on that investment, then we would then proceed to multiple rounds of investment committee approval. Again, to really make sure that we're all aligned on the terms of investment before proceeding to what we call longer form agreements, shareholders agreements, subscription agreements. And these are all legalese terms for big, long documents, which really just another variance of the term sheet, which is that 3 to 4 page document, but really builds out in quite a lot of detail how the company is to function with this new class of ownership, with new investors coming on board. So that is a very high-level summary of what the process is. It doesn't necessarily run from start to finish. It may start in the middle and then proceed to the end. But the point is that all investments are subject to due diligence. There is documentation that gets created along the way. And in any case, whether you're a winner or not, it's a really good idea to prepare for due diligence, prepare for the investment documentation, because venture capital is not for everyone. In fact, you also have to think about in joining this competition, whether venture capital is right for you and whether there may be alternatives as well. Dante, over to you.
Thanks, Alex. So, Croc Pitch, it's not just a contest, it's not showmanship, it's really a gateway to real investment and support and commercial success in Northern Australia. Now, if you think your startup's ready to scale and has something to offer this region, we really want to hear from you. Please do your entry at crocpitch.com.au. And if you've got any questions, you can contact us directly, and Alex is on this email as well as I, vc@paspalis.com.au. Thank you so much for watching. We really look forward to receiving your pitches.